Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this narration of the web series Very Clever Primitives, taken from Reddit. If you're new to the series, there is a playlist listed down below. And as always, I hope that you enjoy. Chapter 14. On Earth, the phrase, "they're wearing their emotions on their sleeve," is said when someone is very emotional, or is clearly showing how a situation is affecting them emotionally. Avalon is constantly in this state, as our scales change colors depending on our mood. There is very little Avalon can do to stop this. The most common accepted theory regarding it is that it was a mating display when we were but lowly, non-sapient creatures. My own theory is that it is an adaptation of an environmental camouflage. My kind has no need for natural camouflage any longer, so the trait was repurposed. For what? I don't know, but that is beside the point. When a human wears their emotions on their sleeve, things get very, very physical. Avalon will illuminate with bright yellows when they are overwhelmed with joy. But a human will crush you in their arms with abyssal strength only titans could know. Perhaps that was something I should have considered when I ran about curing children of life-threatening mutations. By the time I walked out of the cafeteria behind Agent Brown and heard of the security shout, "Stand back," I was immediately grabbed by one of the largest humans that I had ever seen. He was almost as wide as he was tall, his muscles far beyond anything my calculations had predicted. Tears and various other fluids dripped from his rather bald face as he buried it in my shoulder. I could scarcely breathe as his grip around my frame tightened. He even lifted me off the ground in his display of joy. "You saved her. You saved my little girl," he choked out, sobs and more fluid staining my lab coat as I struggled to take my next breath. Agent Brown and a few security guards tried to get this behemoth of a human away from me so that I could breathe once more. This man was worth 3 Agent Browns in sheer height, weight, and muscle mass. Titan was a good way to describe him, as I felt this man could shatter mountains with a single blow from his heavily tattooed fist. "Let go of the alien!" Agent Brown barked in a tone that I had not heard from his secretive agent before, a solid projectile pistol drawn up against the man's bald head. Was he really going to shoot this man that was slowly choking the life out of me? No, he wasn't. The man took the hint and slowly set me down, 2 shaky legs, as he began to wipe the fluids onto his heavily calloused hands. His smile wider than I thought possible for a human. "My little girl, Lily. She was given only 3 months to live. You saved her," he choked out, raising his hands up to ease Agent Brown's agitation. I didn't mean to hurt you. If I did, but holy shit, the news was wrong about you. The news was wrong about all of you. You're not here to take us over at all. You're saving our kids," he shouted. I was too busy gasping for air to really accept the man's apology or pry any further into what exactly he was saying about the news. Agent Brown barked some orders at the security staff and proceeded to shout at the top of his lungs oh, by the gods, there were dozens of them. As my eyes slowly started to adjust to having oxygen once more, I saw a tide of people, much like the barbarian that grappled me earlier, holding each other and looking at me in awe. They did not wear uniforms like the medical staff here. They seemed relatively casual in attire, albeit strange compared to what the Valan wore during casual affairs. Agent Brown was not pleased in the slightest. He pressed a few buttons on his communications device, upon which he, in a very shrill, high-pitched squeal of a scream, barked orders into it. His face was red as our scales became when we had a fit of rage. Honestly, I do not blame his security or himself for the barbarian of a man getting through to me. He was driven by very human emotions, and those emotions were quite physical. The man seemed to be well-intentioned, giant, like the Parna Striders of my home world. They were large, imposing creatures, yet were herbivorous and would more than likely flee from you than attempt to harm you. We tried to domesticate them, but giant creatures made poor house pets. I digress. The large, heavily tattooed man was pushed back into the crowd with gleeful parents that would not be denied the chance to gaze upon the alien that cured their children. They cheered, they wept, they made calls on their own personal communication devices. And furthermore, they begged for me to stay and help other kids and people they knew with similar diseases. They begged me to stay to cure more people. I was too overwhelmed to really answer any of their questions or ease their emotions as Agent Brown quickly abandoned Dr. Mormheim and the rest of the staff and pushed me towards the parking lot once more. Security barricading the tide of emotional parents from our location. "Jones!" Agent Brown called out. A security guard running up to him from the security booth in the parking lot. Yes, sir? "You're fired, and if you don't fire every single one of you incompetent security staff in the next 15 minutes, I'll find a reason to throw you in jail. Your security team was supposed to keep everyone the feck out, and they weren't able to. Who let the parents in?" He seethed, guiding me towards his car, opening the passenger door and shutting me inside. His face was scrunched and filled with an immense fury. He would have made the sky rain magma if his blood boiled any hotter. The poor security lead's face went pale as he attempted to explain himself. Agent Brown appeared to be having none of it, yet I couldn't quite make out what he was saying through the closed car door. Nor did I want to. As my heart settled down and the tension from both the wild parents and the screaming federal agent slipped from my senses, pride moved in to take its place. I placed my hands behind my head, cool sandwiched between both as my scales turned a bright yellow. My tired eyes lidded shut as I thought about just how intense a human display of affection was. I'd done great things for these humans, and I didn't even really have to try. Primitives was so easy to make happy, and their happiness was so lively. I felt like a hero. Hells, I was a hero to them. It was a good feeling. It was more than just my job to fix people to these humans. It was a legitimate, heroic act. I was used to applause for succeeding in finding treatment to a troublesome disease or purifying a water supply from a waterborne parasite. But that was just my job to the Valan. To the Valan, that was what I was supposed to do. And while yes, I was praised for being good at it, it was just what was expected of me. I am a biologist. It is expected of biologists to develop new medical treatments and solve biological problems. To do so is to do what is expected of you. For humans, succeeding in what you were supposed to do appeared to be some form of magic, judging from how much of a reaction I received after completing my task. Dr. Mormheim wasn't rushed by thankful parents for doing her part in treating them. Yet I was. True, with the treatment I provided, the mutation was eradicated rather than simply bombarded with radiation and chemical treatments. But Dr. Mormheim was limited by her technology available. Oh, what humanity could do with their technology was on par with our own. The Valan would be rather irrelevant. At least, those are my thoughts on it. It was actually rather intimidating to think about. Humanity could survive in a multitude of environments. They could develop and implement new technologies very quickly, and they were always prepared for the worst should it happen. My species grew far too comfortable on their throne. Humanity would step up to claim it if we were not cautious with how we handled this meeting. This meeting. Oh, heavens. I was to be the judge of humanity in a short while. The thought crossed my mind as Agent Brown finally finished berating the security official and entered the car. It was time now. There was no time for sleep, no time to say goodbye to Dr. Mormheim, and certainly no more time to reflect on the variety of strange things going through my mind. No, this was it. I was going to be taken to the location where we would meet with actual human leaders, where I'd provide a non-biased opinion on what I'd seen. There'll be other Valan there too, you know. In your shoes, sandals, Agent Brown, as if reading my very own thoughts, responded. My scales turned a bright blue from sheer capabilities of his intuition. Was I being that obvious? No, I wasn't. Humans were good at reading people, even aliens. Humans were good at a variety of things, but Agent Brown's specialty seemed to be people. Really? Others made contact as I have? I asked. It had been quite a few days since I'd talked to the others of my kind. I was fairly clueless as to how the rest of my kind approached humanity. Agent Brown nodded, his face turning rather emotionless once more. He rested his hands in his lap and looked at me with those cold, intuitive eyes. Yep, but none like you, Scalan. Every other Milan was given the royal treatment, but not you. You were met with hostility the moment you got here. You got a taste of the side of humanity our diplomats didn't want you to see. You got to meet General McCullen, he stated, closing those infernal eyes of his. The other Milan, their opinions won't mean shit compared to yours. Everyone wants to know what you have to say. Which is why I have to ask, what are you going to say? He requested, opening his eyes once more to stare holes into my very soul. I'm uncertain, Agent Brown. Not good enough, he interrupted. I leaned back towards the door, looking at Agent Brown with confusion. Everyone else is going to lie to you, but not me. And I am a professional liar. If we fact this up with you, in particular, all of our hopes die with your words, he said, looking forward out of the windshield. Everyone thinks the Milan are either going to get us or help us get into space Star Trek style, he admitted, sighing. And what do you think, Agent Brown? I prodded, genuinely curious. Personally, I think you'd be fecking idiots to let us get into space. Personally, I think that we should rot here on this planet all by ourselves. My kind isn't ready to explore space. My kind isn't as beautiful as yours, he said, his tone growing dim. And that's why you should leave us here. We're not ready to give up our diversity, our individuality, just to see the galaxy. I don't think humanity will ever be willing to do that. I think, truly, that we need to find our own fecking way off this planet. We need to grow up as a species and do it ourselves, he muttered, causing me to shake my head. That's quite the sentence you're forcing on your kind, Agent Brown, I replied, my scales turning a bright yellow. I'm not the kind of person that'll write speeches in advance or prepare to sugarcoat anything. I'm a scholar, first and foremost. As such, I will tell both my kind and yours the honest-to-God's truth about what I've seen and what I think about your species, I stated, my brow furrowing in determination. All you need to do is ensure my safety until we get there. Afterwards, you'll hear my opinion on you. But I need to be honest with you first, I muttered. Agent Brown nodded, turning on his land shuttle after inserting some core into it. Human technology was odd. Go on, then. Not getting any younger, he laughed, moving his car into reverse and looking through the back window. I hate how your kind doesn't trust each other, I hissed as he pulled out his parking spot and began to move out of the structure that housed all of these land shuttles. I understand why you do not trust each other, or aliens for that matter. And it still irritates me, I admitted, leaning back into my seat. Same here, he muttered, turning onto the road out of the hospital parking lot. Say, Scalan, you've gotten to know a few humans since you've been here. Mind if I go for broke and tell you a bit about me? I mean, it's not like you're going to sell my secrets on the internet or something, he blurted out, chuckling to himself. I shrugged my shoulders. I didn't see how it had hurt to know a bit more about the one of the most secretive, strange individuals I'd ever met. It was the man who didn't display a single emotion, but spoke with so much it hurt my eyes. I'll take that as a yes. First things first, I kill people. End of chapter. The algorithm reckons you should be watching this video next, and I recommend that you should be always watching my video. So, click with energy! And yes, clicking that does help the channel. Thank you very much. I would just quickly like to give thanks to our Tier 5 members. Elithia, Barky, Feudicuel, Meridian 117, Cam Maxwell, Casper Arnholtz, Albard and Gusta, Savage Patch Papa, and Lord Azrakal.